All right, Steph, thank you so much. Students across Ontario heading back to class today after the winter break, but many will not be returning to the same way that they left. Instead, trading in that classroom for a computer. All students are moving to online learning this week as schools remain closed under province-wide lockdown orders. Here in Ontario, elementary students will attend virtual classrooms all week long, with those who have chosen that in-class learning option going back to school next Monday. All high school students, however, will continue with online learning through January 22nd. Now, coming up here at 7:30, we're going to be hearing from some Toronto students about how kids are feeling and how they're being impacted by this lockdown. Meanwhile, schools across the country are not all following the same format. For example, in Nova Scotia, they've extended their holiday break as students in Alberta, Manitoba, and Quebec also switched to online learning for at least a week. In BC, most schools are opening their doors today despite a petition from parents with close to 60,000 signatures pleading with the province to pause in-person classes for 2 weeks. Many health experts have said that an extended break could cut down on the risk of spreading the virus. Now, both Ontario and Quebec continue to report staggering new COVID-19 case numbers. Ontario reporting 2,964 new cases and 25 deaths yesterday. It is a slight decrease from the record high of over 3,300 new cases Saturday. Toronto, Peel, and York Region continue to be the hardest hit areas, despite being in lockdown long before the province-wide restrictions came into effect. Quebec also started the new year with a record-breaking note, 2,869 new cases reported Saturday. Now, coming up, we're going to be taking a closer look at COVID data and the progress of the vaccine rollout across Ontario. Ryan Imgren is a COVID biostatistician. He's going to be joining us in just a few minutes here at 6:30. Meanwhile, we're following this, more backlash against former Finance Minister Rod Phillips as his constituency office sign is defaced. Now, the sign in front of his Ajax office was altered to say, "Resign now." He came under fire for taking a vacation in St. Bart's while his government had urged people against all non-essential travel. Phillips resigned last Thursday, but is staying on the Conservative caucus and as the MPP for his riding. It's unclear who posted this sign. So far, we've not heard from any comment from Phillips' office as CityNews has reached out. Meanwhile, a Brampton Liberal MP stepping down from her parliamentary secretary role, also for traveling outside the country. Kamal Kara admitted on Twitter that she went to Seattle late last month to attend a memorial for her father and uncle. Kara was a parliamentary secretary to the Minister of International Development. Well, the federal government is considering blocking people who have traveled outside the country from being eligible for the Canada Recovery Sickness Benefit. The program is meant to help Canadians who have COVID-19 or must self-isolate with up to $1,000 if they don't have paid sick days. A Quebec politician raised the alarm bells on the weekend, saying those who've gone outside the country shouldn't need $1,000 to isolate. Let's get to the courts now. Adam Skelly, you remember that name, the owner of Adamson Barbecue, back in court today. The 33-year-old was arrested back in November, hit with several charges, including mischief and obstructing police after the restaurant broke COVID-19 health regulations of this Reopening Ontario Act. It had opened for indoor dining for several days. He has been out on $50,000 bail. Well, Britain has administered its first injection of the new AstraZeneca vaccine. It went into the arm of 82-year-old dialysis patient Brian Pinker. The vaccine was developed by Britain's Oxford University and drug giant AstraZeneca. The UK says it has 500,000 of the vaccines set for use today. Britain confirmed some 50,000 new COVID cases yesterday. Health Canada has yet to make a decision whether or not to approve this AstraZeneca vaccine for use here. U.S. President Donald Trump continuing to pressure Georgia's top election official to find enough votes to overturn his defeat in the state. Have a listen to this, a recorded call released yesterday.
All I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have, because we won the state.
Okay, so the call, which took place on Saturday, was the latest attempt by Trump to change the outcome of his November 3rd election defeat to President-elect Joe Biden. Trump continues to insist that there was widespread voter fraud, despite the claim being firmly rejected by state and federal election officials and multiple courts. Okay, we have a busy show today here on BT. Let's give you a glimpse of what we'll be covering. Coming up at 8:45, we're going to find out the final tally from BT's December initiative raising funds and awareness for the Daily Bread Food Bank. And as mentioned, we've got a number of guests here, so we'll bring them to you throughout the morning. Lots to talk about, including this coming up next in business. The new year brings a new high for Bitcoin. 680 senior business editor Mike Apple is ahead, why its value is soaring. We'll be right back.